Good morning, I'm meteorologist Ross Whitley tracking the latest with Hurricane Michael here on a Facebook Live special update for you as we go through the morning hours and continue to track this system as it approaches our area. The latest moving out of the north-northwest, 12 miles per hour. Max winds are still at 90. That's the latest from the 2 o'clock advisory early this morning. Pressure down to 973, so we have seen the pressure drop just a touch, but it has not correlated to wind speeds just yet. However, on satellite presentation looking quite nice. We're starting to get that nice circular structure to this system and getting the buzzsaw look as opposed to just this oblong structure, which really means that this thing is starting to intensify and will probably rapidly do so over the next 12 to 24 hours as it does continue to move off to the north-northwest and then eventually off to the north and east. One thing has become sure is that all of the models are really starting to agree on where this thing is going. Timing still kind of up in the air, but as far as how clumped together everything is, it's pretty obvious that this storm is going to be making landfall somewhere from Port St. Joe all the way back up through Panama City in Bay County, or just in western parts of Walton County, or eastern parts of Walton County. So from eastern parts of Walton County down to Port St. Joe, that seems the most likely as far as the clumps of all of the model runs being tightly knitted together here. Now there's a wide variety, and obviously the further west you go with this storm, the more impacts it would have on the coastline from Panama City through Mexico Beach and Port St. Joe. The further east you go with the storm, the more impacts you're going to have through Franklin County, Apalachicola, Carabel. You're going to have that southern wind the entire time, and through Franklin and Gulf counties on that southern end, we're looking at 8 to 12 feet of storm surge through those coastal areas. Through Gulf County, right along the coastal areas, we're looking at 6 to 10 feet of storm surge right along Bay County. Of course, considering where this thing makes landfall, if it does make landfall a little bit further west with these other models that are to the west, then that will increase our storm surge along Bay County, but 5 to 6 feet, maybe in some places as high as 8 feet, seems likely through Bay County, Walton County, and then Okaloosa County. We're looking at 4 to 6 feet of storm surge, and regardless of where you are, you're going to see at least tropical storm force winds. It stays tightly knit, and you see how quickly all of that moves on. By Thursday at 11 o'clock, this system will be up into Georgia, so we will be out of this system after just dealing with it for about 10 to 12 hours. So not a long duration event here, but a very quick and powerful system is moving in our direction. After that, it's way gone. It's out into the Atlantic, and thankfully we don't have to worry about it after that point in time. As far as the official track is concerned, looking at the cone of uncertainty here, a Category 1 now, but will likely become a Category 2 very, very soon as we approach this afternoon, going into this evening. Category 3 by 7 o'clock, 115 miles per hour. Making landfall will likely be a high-end Cat 2 or Cat 3, excuse me, a high-end Cat 3 at 120 miles per hour, or a very low-end Cat 4 at 130 miles per hour. That's just 10 miles per hour off. Not that much of a difference, and with the official track going right through downtown Panama City, back up toward Dothan, and then making the turn into Albany. And as quickly as this storm is moving inland, there is going to be hurricane force winds extending well into southern Georgia, which is why there are hurricane warnings in that place. So Dothan, Albany, going back up toward Macon, and even Augusta, we'll start to see tropical storm force winds with this system as it moves quickly inland. So this is not going to just be a coastal event. This is going to be an inland event all through the Panhandle where that center of rotation goes. It's going to be quite devastating, and very, very strong winds will knock down trees and power lines. We'll be talking about power outages very widespread across the area. As far as Futurecast is concerned, today we will still have those showers and breezy conditions, deteriorating conditions as we go into the overnight hours. By Wednesday morning, we're looking at a landfall imminent and then moving quickly inland. And you notice by Thursday at 2 a.m., really we clear things out. Things are starting to look pretty good. So by late Wednesday night going into Thursday, we'll have fairly nice weather out there with a north southeast wind. So a very quick hitting storm. It's not going to be with us for a long time, but it will be providing some very intense wind speeds. Our wind speed forecast here, breezy throughout the day today. For all those preparations that still need to be done, you need to be getting them done as quickly as possible. By late tonight, we'll start to see conditions really going downhill. And you notice even with this track being a little bit further off to the east, you see Apalachicola winds gusting, or wind speed sustained over 70 miles per hour. And then even as this thing moves inland, look at Albany, Tallahassee, sustained wind speeds at 25 miles per hour and gusts much higher. So this thing is going to be very impactful to our area. We have a lot of watches and warnings in place with Hurricane Michael along the coast. Anywhere you see the red there, that is a hurricane warning for the coastal areas. We're going to go through all of these. Hurricane warnings extend again all the way up into South Georgia, southwest Georgia. That's because that storm will be carrying hurricane force winds inland. And I'll expect to see this trim just a touch off on the east side and probably again off on the west side, but hurricane warnings go from Pensacola all the way back over through Tallahassee and in up to southern Georgia. So most likely, if you're watching this in the Panhandle, you're under a hurricane warning, which means hurricane conditions are likely within the next 24 to 48 hours. And in this case, we're talking about over the next 24 to about 32 hours when this system starts to make landfall. Where you see the pinks up here, that is hurricane watches in effect. That's north of Dothan and then back off to our west just in case this thing does end up going to the west. Tropical storm warnings, basically anywhere there were hurricane watches, there's now tropical storm warnings in effect, and they last and through the duration of this event. No expiration time on those. Expected storm impacts. Not everyone is going to see all of these impacts, but some places may see all of these impacts. A Category 3 hurricane at landfall seems likely. High-end Cat 2 or high-end Cat 3, low-end Cat 4 seems likely. Yes, a Category 4 only 10 miles per hour less than what is forecasted to make landfall at the current moment. Flash flooding, definitely a potential, with some places picking up 10 to 14 inches of rain in about 5 to 7 hours. Storm surge in some locations, Franklin and Gulf counties looking at 7 to 12 feet. Other places looking at 6 to 8 feet. That will have some coastal inundation as well as the bays. It all really is going to depend on the wind direction at your specific location. Isolated tornado threat, it will start as early as late tonight and then go throughout the day on Wednesday, even as the system is moving through, and definitely on the eastern side of the system. So northwest and southwest quadrants of a hurricane provide the highest tornado impact, and definitely major impact to our area. We're going to talk about widespread power outages across the area, likely lasting for several days, not just for the duration of this event, but it's going to take a while to clean up all of the downed trees, all of the power lines, and all of the damage that we're going to have across the area. It's been a long time since we've had a big storm like this in this area, which means all of that new growth not stress tested and will likely fail as we go throughout the duration of this event. So trees that haven't gone through these kinds of storms, they'll break, they'll snap. We got shallow rooted oak trees, we got shallow rooted pine trees here. Those trees likely coming down. And again, if you're under a mandatory evacuation and you decide not to leave, you are deciding that you're deciding potentially for your health and your property, because really during a storm, there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop that storm from hitting your place. And that's a decision that you have to make. Mandatory evacuations are there for a reason. Again, major impacts. If you'd like to keep up to date with the way we're tracking this system, you can do so by the WMBB Viper Weather app. You can go do that at the App Store, download it. It will give you all of the information that you need. You can track along with the radar, as well as you can see our forecast track on there, the National Hurricane Center's forecast track, and even throw on the spaghetti model so that you can do your own little weather diagnosis. Again, that's available on the App Store and the Google Play Store. Both of those are on there. We're going to continue to give you updates all day long, every hour. Yes, every hour you're going to have an update either on Facebook or on the news. And of course, you can always find more information on my social media pages as well as our WMVP TV Facebook page, which you're watching this on currently, or you can go to mypanhandle.com. All the information that we have to give out for you to keep you safe will be on there throughout the day today.